Now, I don't need to tell you about power prices, do I? I mean, I showed you last week, average annual electricity bills have shot up by more than twice as much as Labor promised to reduce them. Average household bills vary from state to state, but they're near enough to $2,000 a year now. That's looking like the norm. In South Australia, where they have more renewable energy than any other state, they boast about this, average prices have already well and truly topped $2,000 a year. Yeah, all that wind and solar and a big battery to boot, the stuff Labor and the Greens tell us is the cheapest power available, and the Crow Eaters have got themselves the most expensive electricity in the country, and they had their first statewide blackout a few years back too. Tell us again how this renewables push is the way of the future. Just extraordinary, isn't it? The nonsense we're fed by the Albanese Labor government on electricity when the facts, the reality we are living is entirely different. The Coalition attacked the government on power prices in Parliament again today. And let me show you the most arrogant and delusional response from the Climate and Energy Minister, Chris Blackout Bowen. He boasted about Labor's interventions in the coal and gas markets and the effect that they're having on power prices. And he attacked the Shadow Minister, Ted O'Brien, for not giving enough credit to Labor for these interventions.
The member for Fairfax went on to say, so there's no evidence here that the intervention itself was the thing that got prices down. No evidence that the intervention itself was the thing that got prices down. This creates a considerable mystery. What was it? Was it the coronation, Mr Speaker? Was it the final episode of Succession, perhaps? No spoilers. Was it Sweden winning the Eurovision Song Contest?
That got prices down? He actually said, got prices down. They've already gone up by 20 or 30% since the election, and they're going up another 25 to 30% in July. And the Minister in charge of energy claims he got prices down? This is delusional. He talks like this while around the country, people are hurting.
You've got the exact same people who right now are sitting around kitchen tables as families saying, well, how can we pay all the bills? Can we go on that holiday? Are we okay with the education fees? Can we turn on the heater?
Yeah, I'll have more from Ted O'Brien later. But the trouble for the country is that the federal Labor government is only making all this worse. They've been allowing coal-fired generators to close. They're building transmission lines all over the country, encouraging offshore wind and more solar. All of this will just add to our costs in the future and undermine our energy reliability. This is madness, of course. This is national self-harm. And the crowning glory, of course, is the Snowy Hydro 2.0 project. This is a green dream turned into a taxpayer-funded nightmare. Labor didn't start it. The credit for that has to go to Malcolm Turnbull, who was desperate for some kind of climate and energy icon when he was Prime Minister.
These are big dreams in these mountains, real courage, a belief in the future, a confidence in Australia. And what we are announcing today is our commitment to ensure that we build on that confidence. We continue with that courage. The projects that we are talking about today, which will add at least 50% to the capacity of the Snowy Mountains hydro scheme. These projects were designed and engineered decades ago by the men and women who built this. That capacity was there. All that was missing was leadership and money. And my government has both.
Leadership and money, yeah. Honestly, the reckless grandstanding with our money. It's our money. 5 years on and that project is literally stuck in a hole. It's years behind schedule and already way over budget. It'll now cost about $20 billion, including transmission lines. And get this, it's really just a battery. It won't produce a single watt of additional electricity. In fact, it's a net consumer of electricity. It just stores hydro for when we need it. Yet Labor is ploughing on with this nonsense. And that's the thing here. Labor can't be blamed for all the climate and energy madness in this country. Coalition governments, state and federal, have gone way too far down this path themselves. But But Anthony Albanese and Chris Bowen are doubling down. When they should be pulling back, they're doubling down. The first thing they should do is scrap Snowy 2.0.